Fans, welcome to this episode of Nerd Words. This weekend is when Spider-Man comes out. So we're going to talk a little bit about superhero movies. Starting out with Spider-Man, high expectations for this film.
I enjoyed the first one. I think Andrew Garfield did a fine job as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man. Spider-Man is my favorite comic character, has been for years. To me, he's the best character in comics. He's easily identifiable. He's a nerd. He's an average guy that just happened to come into superpowers. He's not rich, poor guy trying to make ends meet. That's just what he is. He's not like other heroes who are just, Iron Man, a billionaire, Bruce Wayne, a billionaire.
Superman, a god.
Superman,
Thor, a god.
He's different. I mean, he's got superpowers, but he was just a normal guy. And now he has, and that's why he's so identifiable. And plus, he has a great cast of villains.
Yeah, I think that's why people identify with him better, because he come from nothing, and he's basically just a normal guy that actually accidentally got this power.
Yeah, I mean that's more the Marvel way of making their heroes realistic.
Even Tony Stark, a billionaire, is a very realistic fellow in the comics.
Interesting choice of villains. Doc Ock is the king of Spider-Man villains to me.
I agree.
I mean,
I actually prefer him to the Green Goblin myself.
many people say the Green Goblin, but Doc Ock's been there the whole time, and the Spider-Man 2 was great with Doc Ock. That may be why.
Alfred Molina played a great Doc Ock.
This one, it appears to be the main antagonist is going to be Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, which I'm fine with Jamie Foxx. He's a good actor. Did well in Django Unchained. Made some movies that aren't that great, but everybody makes a few clinkers.
So did Ben Affleck. I mean, he was the Bond fans.
But yeah, I think that Jamie's going to do a fine job.
I tell you, even though he's, from what we've been told, is not going to be in the movie much, Paul Giamatti, who I just love, is playing Rhino.
I greatly enjoyed Paul.
Granted, it's mech Rhino, but
In the 60s, I love Spider-Man comics. Like I said, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. You can get away with having an origin where somebody's suit gets glued to them with, unsoluble super glue, and they can never get it off, because it happened to Scorpion and to the Rhino both. But he's a mechanical suit in this, and like I say, we've been told. I mean, like I say, our director Chris, he is the ultimate movie guy. That there's not going to be a ton of Rhino in this one, but they're universe building with Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And they have the Sinister Six movie coming up, possibly, and the Venom movie coming up. And that's Sony's way of building the universe. The other thing that we discussed, I think, already, come out with a more cogent reason for, supposedly anyway, of the scene in Spider-Man, being the X-Men scene at the end of the credits. The fellow who directed some of the movies, supposed to direct the movie for Fox, went to work for Sony and to do some directing, and left Fox. And this is sort of Sony's payback to help Fox out a little bit because of that. I don't really know if I buy that story.
we'll see.
I still think that, you're doing it to get back, maybe combine forces and try to keep up with Disney's Marvel. But I'm looking forward to Spider-Man. We should probably see it this weekend, like most of you will.
Right. Well, it's hard. It's kind of up in the air right now because of my schedule, unfortunately.
I don't want to give away the big spoiler. The director may have already given it away, but we'll see what they said. If you're familiar with comic books and familiar with Spider-Man mythos, what happens in the film is probably not going to surprise you, apparently. But like I said, some of you may not be, and you may not keep up with it close enough to have saw the spoiler that come out. Don't seek it out. Just watch it in the movie.
Just watch it and enjoy it.
And
It'll definitely be worth watching.
the other big movie news of the week, Justice League was announced.
Zack Snyder, who, he did Superman. He's doing Superman Batman. Did 300, did Watchmen. He's very well versed in translating comics into movies. Is going to be the director of Justice League.
His direction is great. I thought there was questionable choices in Man of Steel. I will never agree with Superman letting his father die in the tornado.
Right, I don't agree with that.
I mean, he's Superman. He could go over and get
he
Ken
would have
out
been there fast
immediately.
before he
And the entire, one of the mythos of Superman originally was that Pa Kent died of a heart attack. And even Superman couldn't save him. I mean, that's the one thing Superman can't do. You know, he simply, even as almost a godlike figure, he can't save everybody. He can't even save the person he loved the most in the world. Because that's just nature. I mean, he can fight any supervillain, but sometimes you can't save people. And I can understand it, see him dying of a heart attack or anything else other than just letting him stand there while he gets sucked up by a giant tornado.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
Come on, really?
but and that's part of that was the writing.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
And Snyder was not the primary writer on this, whereas he will be for the next couple.
He's in complete creative control now for this, and apparently in complete creative control for the Justice League. We will see whether they're going to introduce the Green Arrow from the TV show, the Flash from the upcoming TV show, and try to incorporate the universes together like Marvel's doing. Because Marvel, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, they're doing a lot better.
What happened in Captain America showed up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, we can say S.H.I.E.L.D. started out a little weak to pretty much all of us here that watched it, but the connections are there. The Iron Man 3 connection was there. The Thor connection's there. The Captain America connection's definitely there.
I've still yet to watch Arrow. I mean, I hear nothing but praise for it. It's a great show, apparently. And, I trust Chris in his opinions on film, and he thinks it's a no-brainer to move the DC TV universe into the DC film universe.
Right.
I mean, you've already got the actors who do wonderfully, good work according to him. I don't know why they wouldn't do it. DC often makes missteps in their hero division and their movie division.
They make bad choices.
I mean,
I think they kill their people too fast.
those last two Batman movies were just atrocious. They let things get out of control. We'll see. You got to trust Snyder, I guess. I say he's got a new guy helping him write. It's his control. It's his baby. My only pause with it, he did great with Watchmen. I really enjoyed the Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen was great.
300, the original 300.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Those are lifted almost directly panel by panel from the film. I mean, you see shots in each film that are panels in the story in the comics. And right now, he's working on his own. He doesn't have that. He's not telling a Superman Batman story after that. And I don't know, since we last talked, but did we talk that they introduced Cyborg into the...
We have not talked about the introduction of Cyborg yet.
Ray Park playing Cyborg. Glad to see him getting work into the Ghostbusters theme song. His, probably played his course out.
Well, it's tough. But the guy's an acclaimed actor that's playing Cyborg.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not Ray Parker or Ray Parker Jr. who sung the Ghostbusters theme song. But this guy's actually a critically acclaimed stage actor. So right now in this movie, obviously Batman and Superman are in it. Wonder Woman is going to be introduced. Cyborg is going to be introduced. Now, how big a role the latter two play, I guess we'll find out eventually.
Are they ever going to bring Robin in?
Probably, maybe in an individual Batman movie down the road.
Whereas they have said there will be at least two Affleck-centered Batman movies.
Their plans right now, initially for probably I think in the next 5 to 6 years, of around 7 DC movies to come out.
Okay.
Now, granted, Marvel's got many more than that coming out, but we'll see how.
And
that works out for
the
DC.
Rock has mentioned that he's going to be playing a bad guy in
he's
some of the DC. He's alluded.
He's
to.
been linked to the film. I should say you don't know whether they said that likely roles he could be linked with a Shazam film,
as Black Adam.
or he could be Shazam or Black Adam. They're not sure yet. He could be playing Lobo. They're not sure yet.
I think he'd be a good Lobo.
Oh, he would be a fantastic Lobo. The big thing with it on the Shazam thing, and I don't know why they would do this, but like I said DC sometimes makes missteps in my opinion. They said they didn't know whether Shazam was going to be linked in with the Justice League universe. There's no point. I don't know. There's no point to me in making any future films that don't tie your universe together.
And see, I think Warner Brothers is in the much better. DC's in a much better position than Marvel because Warner Brothers has all those characters. They're not tied up in any other studio that I know of.
Yeah. And that's an advantage they have over Disney. If Sony and Fox truly do start working together, that's going to put a lot of pressure on DC. A whole lot of pressure on DC and Warner Brothers. But I honestly believe that they can pull it off. I mean, Superman and Batman are, I want to say, of the top 20 superhero movies of all time, they've been in maybe 5 or 6 of them,
Right.
as far as it goes for box office take. Now, granted, out of that 5 or 6, I think there's like 2 that aren't Marvel, and the rest are all Marvel superheroes. So they're behind Marvel. But if they will integrate their TV universe, I think that they'll have an easier time catching up.
Oh, yeah,
They
because
need
they
to.
already have their
Because also,
characters established on
Marvel's,
the
they're
TV
about to start
series.
shooting their Netflix series with the first one being Daredevil. So, yeah, that's a lot to chew on.
Now, as of now, you've not really heard that the guys from TV are even going to be in the Justice League film, though. But it's still very early, and you don't know if they will or not. Sometimes people are reluctant to put things on television that are going to be able to sell on the big screen, or they figure if you can get them on the television for free, people are not going to want to pay to see them on the big screen.
Right.
And I think that may be part of the line of thinking. Someone suggested, and I think it would be a silly idea, in one of the articles I read earlier today about it, that they should have a completely separate Justice League on TV than the one in the films.
That's retarded.
Yeah, and
And it seems like that would be a waste of money, time, and
confusion, it'd be
Not only
confusing.
that, it'd be confusing, and plus you'd have to build 2 different universes for both things, and they would not be
Well,
able to connect in any way possible.
I will say
But you
this,
know, DC has an out on that.
DC has the Infinite Earths.
Oh, that is true.
DC,
It could be
You
the
could be the-
sixth.
the Justice Society, it could be Earth Prime, Earth A, Earth 2. You never know.
That's a whole other episode of the DC multiverse. Fans, we are rapidly running out of time for this episode. We'll see you on the next Nerd Words.